everybody, and welcome to today's video. Today you find me in the kitchen and we are going to make poor man's meal. I wonder what that could be. I hope you stay tuned to find out. Oh, hi everybody, and welcome to my channel. My name's Tessie and this is Homestead Tessie's Mobile Home Living. Hi everybody, and welcome back. Today we're going to make a hearty vegetable soup that comes from the garden. And the reason why I'm calling it poor man's food, because it's finding little bits of this and that are in the garden and just a little bit of meat, enough of meat to make it more satisfying and make it a fuller meal. You know, ground beef is very expensive, so I'm only going to be using 1/3 of a pound of ground beef in this hearty meal. But first we want to make some homemade bread. Now this recipe you can make by hand, but because I have a bread machine, it makes it so much easier, and I enjoy making it this way. It's called penny white bread. I'm also going to add some onions to it, so it's going to be like an onion bread. So let me show you this part of the video first. The night before I set out all of my ingredients, so it's really easy, and in a matter of the time of this video, which will be about 8 minutes, I can put together homemade bread and homemade soup. And all it has to do is cook a little bit and we have a nutritious meal. The recipe for my bread machine onion bread, it's penny white bread, comes from this cookbook. It is my favorite bread machine cookbook. And of course, like I said, you can make it by hand. We're going to add 1 1/4 cup of water. We're going to add 3 1/4 cups of bread flour. You can substitute for regular flour if you have it, but bread flour does make your bread a lot lighter and fluffier. Two tablespoons of brown sugar. 1 teaspoon of salt. I use Himalayan pink salt. 2 tablespoons of dry milk. 1/2 cup of dried onions. Add a few chives. 1 teaspoon of poppy seeds. 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm using my home canned butter. And 3 teaspoons of yeast. All right, we're all finished with the bread. We just put it in the bread machine under a regular setting, and now we'll work on the soup. All right, now we're gonna make the Harvest Hamburger soup, and this comes from one of my favorite cookbooks. And this is the Mormon Cookbook. It's 1 pound of ground beef, and I'm only using 1/3, 1 onion, 2 10-ounce cans of beef bouillon or beef broth, 2 cups of water, 1 cup of fresh tomatoes, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 1/2 cups of fresh corn, 2 carrots, 4 potatoes, 1 teaspoon of taco seasoning, which I'm not sure if I'm going to add that, and 1 cup of mozzarella cheese for at the end when you eat it. A lot of people remark about my videos because I don't follow the recipe exactly, but I always share the exact recipe in the description box for those of you who want the exact recipe, because lots of times I don't have everything in the recipe. So my kind of cooking is I cook from just what I have on hand, and I add my own touch to everything. So I don't follow recipes exactly. This is how I do it, and this is how I enjoy making our meals for our family. This comes from way back when I was first married, because lots of times I didn't have all the ingredients that they called for. But I have most of it today, so let's get working on this soup, and then of course at the end of the video I'll show you what the soup looks like. So I added potatoes, carrots, and zucchini. because that is what I have in my garden today. Then I have some frozen corn that I froze. Now I did not grow this corn. This corn was given to me and I froze it because we have deer and the deer ate a lot of my garden produce this year. My own very fresh tomatoes. So I have my fresh tomatoes, and the potatoes were mine and the carrots were mine. And the zucchini was mine as well. Now, of course, you could omit the beef, the ground beef. Then it would be really poor man's meal. But a little bit of ground beef can really stretch your meal and also can fill you up a little better. So if you have a family, a little bit of ground beef is great because it can go a lot further. All right, because I'm following the recipe, it calls for 2 tablespoons of sugar and 1 teaspoon of taco seasoning. I found a little envelope and just add a little bit like that. I've never heard of taco seasoning in soup, but we're going to give it a try. And I never heard of sugar in soup as well, but we're going to give it a try. All right, and then it says salt and pepper to taste. We're going to go ahead and cook this. It actually looks really, really good. I want to make sure I have everything in it. It looks really, really, really good. I'm going to add the beef broth. It did call for the 2 cups of water, which I used to soak the vegetables in. And there we have the beef broth. Looks delicious. We're going to give it a try and see what it looks like after it's cooked. All right, in the magic of the camera, I'll see you in just a moment, and it'll be about an hour for me. All right, everyone, our meal is finished. So we have the homemade garden soup, which I would call poor man's soup because we used just about everything that was in the garden. Some homemade onion bread. That's my penny bread because it only costs me pennies to make. And my homemade butter. This is my homemade butter. I've done lots of videos on it. I use these molds to make it. So this is total scratch cooking. There is nothing instant or convenience. This is all scratch cooking from the garden and from my home. So let's see if it's good. Good, nutritious vegetables with just a little bit of ground beef. Enough to give it that bold flavor. A piece of onion bread with poppy seeds. And some homemade butter. So let's taste it and see if it's good. Mmm. That is absolutely amazing. The broth tastes so good. Add some salt and pepper to your liking. It's really, really hot. Mmm. Nothing beats homemade hamburger vegetable soup with vegetables from your very own garden. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Amazing, amazing flavor. Now that's good eating. Homemade bread. There's something about making homemade bread. It fills the aroma in your home. It's so warm and comforting, and it doesn't cost hardly any money. You can't package this in the grocery store, that's for sure. Winner, winner, vegetable soup dinner.